Okay, guys, today we are doing lesson 58 on lead coefficients. All right, if I have my polynomial my trinomial that I'm going to deal with, I've got, say, the x squared minus 3x minus 3 equals 0. And I know that I would solve for the x by either factoring it like this if I'm able to, or if I'm not sure about that, then I can complete the square, right? That works out well. We know how to do that. Well, how about if I've got a 4 in front here? So my coefficient is now a 4. That really complicates things. So I don't want that 4 in front, but sometimes we're going to have that. Sometimes our lead coefficient is not going to be 1. So the way that we can deal with this is I can take and I can divide all of these by 4, and that makes that back to being 1, and 0 divided by 4 is 0. All right, so now I have x squared minus 3/4 x. Okay, let's go ahead and move this negative 3/4 to the other side because I need to figure this out, and I don't think I'm going to be able to take and find 3/4, the factors of 3/4 that are also going to add to 3/4. So let's just go ahead and move that to the other side, and as I moved it to the other side, it actually should have gone over there as a positive. Okay, so I'm going to take my middle term right here, which also happens to be 3/4. I'm going to take the 3/4, multiply it by 1/2, which is going to give us 3/8, which I'm going to square, which will give us 9/64. So I'll add 9/64 to both sides. All right. So as I do that now, I know that the factors of this right here are going to be the same. There'll be two factors, and those two factors are going to be the square root of the first term is x. The square root of the second term is 3/8. Good. All right. Oh, hey, sorry, I wrote something wrong right here. This should have been a positive sign there, and this should have been a positive right there. Sorry, had that wrong there at the beginning. So I've got that. I've got this 3/8. So this right here is going to be positive. That's positive. So this is going to be positive, and this is going to be squared. Okay. If I take this right here and I change the denominator 60 into 64, and my numerator, I'm going to have to multiply both of those by, I think it's 16 that I would have to multiply that 4 by. Yeah, in order to get 64. So I would wind up then, when I add the two together, I'm going to get 57/64. Okay, now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. All right, and remember right here, this is the square root of 57 over the square root of 64, right? So the square root of this over here is just going to be x plus 3/8 equals, and remember now this is going to be positive or negative, square root of 57 over 8, because we know the square root of 64 is 8. All right, and now we can go ahead and move that 3/8 to the other side. So now I'm going to have that x equals negative 3/8 plus or minus the square root of 57 over 8. Okay, let's try another one. A little bit of a change here. All right, so this one, I have 5x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. Okay, so this time I am going to have this negative over here. All right, got a lead coefficient of 5, so we're going to divide each thing by 5, right? Okay, so this is going to come down as an x squared. This is going to come down as a negative 1/5 x. This 2/5 we're going to move to the other side. All right, we're going to take now this negative 1/5. We're going to multiply it by 1/2, and we're going to get a negative 1/10. We're going to square that, and we're going to get 1/100th. Good. Oh, I don't actually want my keyboard. Plus 1/100th, and we're going to add that over here as well. All right, so now let's think about what this is going to be. All right, we said this would be x, and this would be 1/10. We need to actually think about the sign here. All right, if I had this x 1/10, x 1/10, okay, when I do the 1/10 x and the 1/10 x and I add those together and get 2/10 x, I need that to be this needs to be negative. So that tells me this 2/10 x needs to be negative because this needs to be a negative 1/5. All right, so those need to be negative. When I multiply them, they're going to be positive for my third term, but right here when I add them together, they're going to be negative for that middle term. So this needs to be a negative right there, okay? All right, and this is squared. Over here, think about the fact that I would take this and multiply it by 20, which would give me 40/100ths. 40/100ths plus 1/100th is going to give me 41/100ths. All right, I'm going to take that square root of both sides. So that's going to give me x minus 1/10 equals plus or minus the square root of 41/100. All right, so let's go ahead and move the 1/10. So I have the x equals 1/10 plus or minus. All right, let's go ahead. The last time I went ahead and dealt with the denominator right at the beginning, but this time say that we didn't notice at the beginning. So the numerator is going to be the square root of 41. The denominator is going to be 10. All right, so there's going to be the solution to that problem right there. All right, that is going to do it for lesson 58 for you.